The 8 p.m. game is between Morocco and South Africa. Two teams that have a very interesting history in terms of the fixture. This fixture, each team has won about 3 times or so. But we speak about teams that haven't, exploded. And the Moroccans are guilty party number 1. Everybody believes that this is the AFCON. This is the time to do well. But they really, really haven't excited all of us.
I said this before, that it will not be the AFCON. And let's see, in previous AFCONs, Morocco are untouchable in the group stages. And then they go make a mess of themselves in the knockout stages. And mind you, the South African team, they really know these Moroccans because they were in the same group for the AFCON qualifiers. South Africa beat them 2-1 in South Africa. I think Morocco also beat them 2-1 in Morocco. So they know each other very well. But the thing is this. It doesn't matter who is the favorite. South Africa have played some good football, which we must admit. And it comes from the telepathy and the fact that, like we see, their Sundowns are next. They play each other a lot. I look at Morocco and I clearly remember their game against Congo. They took the lead and they were just... that was it. They were just a mess of themselves. And at the same time, I cast my mind back to 2019. Egypt were very good, untouchable. Then they go meet South Africa in Egypt and South Africa knocks them out. So you can never figure it out as to what is going to happen. You look at the North African teams. Algeria is out. Tunisia is out. Egypt is out. Morocco seems to be the only North African team standing or left in this tournament. And that's what makes the fixture a very interesting one, because when Morocco are able to switch on and play good football, they are very deadly. But as to whether they would have the ability to do that is another question, because South Africa has already played another North African side in Tunisia, so they would know all about them. And it will come to the fact that I don't think South Africa is a bad team. Even in their game against Mali, I think they dug their own grave for them, because they had the opportunity to win that game or take the lead in that game, and they missed that penalty, and their heads were down. And that's what allowed Mali to play their game, because the South Africans, psychologically, they were down. But the way they've been able to recover from that, winning 4-0 against Namibia, and being able to even draw against Tunisia in a match where Tunisia needed the point. South Africa didn't need that point in that game, but they were able to draw and see themselves through. I think they will give Morocco a very big challenge than the Moroccans would expect.
Aaron, if you are Morocco, how do you think of this encounter? Open up gung-ho, or you manage it as you go along, knowing that the South Africans can play on the break?
Look, I think that might be why Morocco are a little bit underwhelming so far.
It's because now they are the team that has to chase the opposition. They are the team
that has to chase the opposition. In the World Cup, they were the underdogs for much of that World Cup, and they were comfortable sitting back, taking those 1-2 opportunities that they get, and then sitting back and being compact. If you want to talk about teamwork, this Moroccan team does a lot of it. They defend together, they attack together, they are very compact in defense, very solid. But now they've come to the AFCON, everyone expects them to be the imposers, everyone expects them to be the dominant squad. And they are finding that reputation difficult to maintain. If they take the lead, they relax, because that is what they are used to. That's the DNA of their side. They are used to relaxing and defending instead. And when it comes to teams on the African continent, when they sense that's you slacking, they immediately attack. DR Congo did it in the second game. In the first game, I've always said this, very lucky to beat Tanzania because of that red card. In the third game, very lucky as well. So they come into this game against a South African side that has played some very good football that can cut you open. And we are not used to seeing African teams being this good technically. Usually it's a lot of strength, a lot of physicality. But this South African team has some really good technical players who can find the pass in between the defenders, who have the pace to run in beyond the players, and who can finish from very varied areas on the pitch. So Morocco have a lot to deal with. As a team that is as stacked as Morocco, you should be expecting them to boss games. That is what you'd expect from a team that has Hakim Ziyech, that has El Nesri up front, that has Hakimi on the right-hand side. Even the Amrabat, even the goalkeeper is regarded as one of the best in the world. So you have a really balanced team from defense all the way to attack. This creates the perfect foundation for you to dominate games. Sofiane Amrabat was quite impressive the first couple of games. I thought in the third game, I didn't see much of that. I thought he was swamped in that midfield. He plays a very important role in that Moroccan midfield, not just because he is the line of defense in front of the back four, but also in terms of going forward. He's the one who is tasked with the responsibility of moving the ball quickly into offensive positions, moving it to offensive players. I don't think he's played that role effectively enough at the competition. In terms of his defensive role, I think he's been solid, putting in tackles, clearances, blocks. That is fine. But going forward, you need the quick passes, and he dwells too much on the ball for a player who is tasked with moving the ball quickly enough for Morocco to get into offensive positions. If you don't move balls quickly enough, it allows the opposition to get back into a place where their defense is settled, the midfield is settled, so more players for you to beat in order to create chances. And that has been a problem for Morocco in this tournament. Chance creation has been at a premium. They are not getting the chances that you'd expect from a top quality side. Senegal goes into games, they create 6 chances. Nigeria goes into games, you see that there's a lot of chance creation. Even Egypt, before they were knocked out, there were lots of chances that they missed.
You're right, but the Moroccans, they haven't created a lot.
They haven't created.
What do you think it's been down to?
As I said, they move the ball a little too laboriously. If you are a top team, you need to move it as quickly as possible. There should be a lot of one-touch passes. At least there should be some sequences within the game where there are one-touch passes. Players take just 3 passes to move from defense to attack. But you find the Moroccans taking 5, 6 sideways passes, backwards passes, before it even gets to the offensive players up front, before it gets to Buffal, before it gets to Hakim Ziyech, and you can't afford to do that.
And it's not like they lack the quality.
They don't.
Because against Tanzania, I remember the goal Unahi scored.
Yeah.
One of my favorite goals of the competition. Quick passes to set that chance, and then you wonder why they are not moving the ball quick enough.
I mean, I think there's also a lot of focus on defensive solidity. I think they are bar Senegal. They are the other team who has conceded less in this tournament. I think they've conceded just a goal. So in as much as they can go or gung-ho attacking, they are very mindful about keeping their shape, being very compact. And I think that's one thing that has really affected them. But like Edwin said, the problem is, it reminds me of this Chelsea team or this Barcelona. They just want to keep possession of the ball, play defensive football. Hold on to the ball for a longer period than really creating a lot of chances. And that would have to change because teams allow them to have the ball because you are the big gun in this. And when they are playing a team like South Africa, you'd be allowed to have the ball. But the thing is, when these teams get the ball, it's about how quick the transition is. You have players like Themba Zwane, they have Percy Tau, who are very quick when it comes to attacking. So that might be their Achilles heel, and that might be something that's good about them. But like Edwin said, it's not about possessing the ball. It's about doing something meaningful with the ball. They also face the Southern African team. I just realized how these people are very similar. They also face the Southern African team in Zambia. And even with that game, after getting that one goal from Ziyech, it was basically that's it.
Morocco's played, I can say, 2 halves and a half, if you like, of good football. The first game against Tanzania, of course, mitigating factor, red card. And then that first half against Zambia, or DR Congo, if you like. And that's it, really.
So you see, the thing, and yesterday has taught us that by scoring the first goal and scoring early doesn't mean anything in the knockout stages.
Morocco themselves have experienced it.
You have to see it through. You always have to see it through. And that's been my disappointment because this AFCON could have easily shaped up to be a Senegal-Morocco final. But that's what really is killing me with these big shots. They don't want to see it through because once you're good, you get the first goal. See it through, kill them 5, 6. Be done with them.
Nobody
And
will allow you to
the
score
diamond
6
shout. You see,
after.
when the Germans pack the German machine, and
Which
they
they
go
haven't
up
sparked in a
in a
while.
very long time, it's rusty now, and you get the first goal, you see it through. Make sure that you are not defending. You are not like a certain team I know who scores 2 and goes to sit back. See it through and make sure, because I think one thing they have, I think the thing is that these big teams like Morocco, I don't know if it's a thing of belief that they don't believe in themselves or they don't want to underestimate. Sometimes you need to have that arrogance about
I
you.
guess it's about caution. And like we're saying, maybe they might be cautious this evening because one is against South Africa. They know the South Africans. It's a round of 16 game. One wrong move and you are out. And I guess the weight of expectation might force them to be very cautious.
The thing about caution is when you give caution, you give confidence. When you are being cautious and the South Africans start to play, they become this is the mighty Morocco. Yeah. The more they grow in confidence, and it's the same thing for the Mali, Burkina Faso, the more you give the other team the confidence, the high likely they are going to find the back of the net because they believe in themselves. That the enigma about you is no longer there. So that's the thing about caution. I feel like just stamp your authority from the get-go. If Morocco are able to stamp their authority first 10, 20 minutes, allow South Africa to play less football, then there's a high likelihood. But if first 10, 20 minutes, they score just a goal and they are not serious in finding any other goal, the South Africans won't punish you.
Let's talk about Morocco's options, right? And on the bench, it looks like they do have some very interesting pieces they usually throw on Boufal and a few of these guys. You are Walid Regragui. You are just coming back from a 2-match ban. You've seen them in the stands. What kind of mix should he think of today as they try to unlock a South African team that can be quite stubborn?
Look, if you're Morocco, personally, I'd go with 2 out-and-out wingers, 2 really pacey wingers, or 2 skillful wingers who can beat their man. That way, you are able to create situations in which you isolate the fullbacks or whoever they are going up against, and then they can put balls into the box. If I were Walid Regragui, I'd put Ziyech in the number 10 position.
Okay, playing through the middle, not from the right.
Middle, not from the right. He's been good down the right for a lot of teams, Chelsea, Ajax, obviously. But I want someone to pick the pass. And Nesri is being underutilized at this moment.
Yes.
They're not giving.
I really feel sad for him.
Yes, they're not giving him the service that you would require. And on the right-hand side, I know he can whip in balls or everything, but it's a little difficult for Hakim Ziyech to beat players on that right-hand side. He can't get past any players, so he can't put in the right balls. If he's in the middle, he can pick the passes out for Nesri. Set pieces, obviously he's good at those. But I feel that if you have 2 wide players who can actively beat players, you can create situations in which they are isolated against wingers, beat them, and put balls into the box. That creates the best option for
once the crosses are coming in, Nesri,
he's a fantastic player in the air. He's a good header of the ball. So once the crosses keep coming in, he's going to get a goal. And I feel that his qualities are not being used enough by the Moroccan team at this tournament, which is surprising because they've used enough of him at previous tournaments. So the fact that they are not getting the right balls to him is a bit of a surprise to me.
I think that Hakimi should be more involved. We talk about crosses, and I'm not seeing enough crosses or enough attacking output. Maybe it stems from the caution thing you're talking about, but they are definitely going to have the middle of the pack because the presence of Unahi, Amrabat, they are very formidable side. You see, if you are not going to use Ziyech on the wings, then utilize the fullbacks more often because most of the goals we've seen from these tournaments are coming from crosses. You look at Guinea's goal from a cross, Mane's assist yesterday from a cross. The crosses are very important, and if you have a fullback with the quality of Hakimi, you should be utilizing him more into your attacking output. Even against Congo, Hakimi is the one who got you the goal. He's very good at attacking wise, bringing more into the game. But if you have this defensive mentality all the time, you cannot utilize your potential. Okay. Even with Roman size, very good in the air. So utilize the set pieces. Make sure that Hakimi is more involved in the game. you are going to get possession of the ball. So be more adventurous with the ball. Yes, you might want to play amongst yourself, but try these long crosses. And I think South Africa is going to sit deep. And if they are going to sit deep, that's how come Enesri is a weapon for you, because he's very good in the air. So try more of the crosses. When the South Africans get the ball, there's not really much they are going to do that would hurt you, especially if you are well drilled defensively. So I think that's one of the best ways Morocco can hurt South Africa today. Just trying the set pieces and the crosses.
Predictions?
Difficult, but Morocco to go through, I think, on penalties.
On penalties?
Yes, on
wow,
penalties.
It's going that far.
I think it's going.
South Africa will go through.
South Africa.
I think South Africa would advance by
okay, and the other game,
Mali to go through.
Mali to go through.
Mali to go through.
All right, we'll see how all of these games will play out. Tomorrow we'll be back here to give you another exciting episode of the AFCON Daily Show. My name is Nathan Kwa, Edwin Kwa Kofi, and Kwame Safu, where my wingman show was proudly sponsored by Bet Power. We'll catch you tomorrow with another episode. Stay safe and see you later.